This show contains views and opinions that may not be suitable for certain audiences. Listener discretion is strongly advised. A friendly reminder, Mary Jane edibles are not a substitute for actually paying your Lyft driver. Don't forget to tip your bartenders, you filthy fucking animals. And if you've got kinks, we've got links. Don't forget to subscribe, put on your seatbelt, and enjoy the ride.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome to Thespian Talk. Been a couple of weeks, but here we are again, right in time for Christmas. Yay! I am your host, Gomer the Ranting Thespian. With me this week is Scolipendra.
Tomorrow's Christmas Eve!
Yes! Well, tomorrow is the day we're recording this.
Yes.
You guys, with the exception of patrons, you guys are going to hear this on Christmas Eve. Patrons get to hear it the day we record it.
Yes.
Yeah. And we also have Michelle.
Hello.
There she goes. So yeah, since the last episode, holy shit. It's like if you've ever beaten Doom 2, DOOM 2, you know, the classic, and you beat the final boss, it tells you what happens because limitations can't show the biggest goddamn demon just thrashing and wrecking all sorts of untold miles of hell as it dies. That's what the Trump administration seems to be doing right now. Trying to destroy as much as possible before Trump has to be dragged out of the White House on January 21st.
You've just reminded me a second. Let me just get the right title. Carry on.
Okay. But yeah, so there is all of that. You know, there's supposed to be another stimulus, and they initially wanted to give us just $600, you know, to cover for literal months since the last stimulus check we got. And I say stimulus, but stimulus, relief, whichever is appropriate for you. Some people it's a stimulus, some people it's, yeah, I really need this fucking money.
Yes.
So.
Okay, I've remembered.
Okay.
You were saying about Doom. Have you ever played House of the Dead Overkill?
I have not.
It is set up and presented. It's a rail shooter. It's a lot of fun, and it is set up and presented as a grindhouse. And in like the final boss battle, where things are about to get super epic, it just says has a couple of flickering screens where it just says "real missing."
Wow.
But deliberately, like done like that. It's like real missing because that's like the. I thought, that's funny. But I do reckon, if you like super violent zombie rail shooting, we're trying like if you like games where you like go through it and then it's like, hang on, I missed some monsters, I want to go back through and try and get your perfect scores. I can actually recommend it. As someone who's not necessarily into violent games, I think I do find it a lot of fun, but not one for the kiddies. It's on. I have it on Wii and PlayStation 3. I'm not sure if it's available other ways, but as far as I know, the House of the Dead franchise is quite a big franchise anyway, so you're bound to find something you like.
Yeah, there you go. So to get back to the stimulus thing, though, so it passed the House, and so the $600 stimulus, which is really just a slap in the face at this point, you know, passed both houses, and Trump, of all people, is like, nah, make it 2,000, or else I'm going to veto this thing, which I single out the stimulus thing, but it came with a whole bunch of other caveats in it, which is a whole lot of bullshit. And one of the things that makes, another one of the things why Trump would veto this thing is also too much foreign aid, which, yeah, that tells you where his priorities are. But I will say this. I think Pelosi has kind of called Trump's bluff. Is like, hey, you know what? We'll introduce a bill with 2,000 and push it on through. You know, we can get through the House safely enough.
Yeah.
So, you know, call that bluff. Which, you know, this is also the same woman who agreed that $600 was a significant amount of money for these very same people we're trying to help. So, you know, grain of salt. But you know what? If you do good, you do good. I will give you that credit.
I'm just gonna. You know. I saw a thing, where I just want to make sure I've got it because I'm pretty sure I liked it, but I can't remember where I found it. I did see it on Twitter. Maybe I didn't like it. I thought I had. Basically, it was a politician, someone saying, actually, here's the thing, what they're saying isn't 100% true, because the bill where you're saying, oh, they're giving this much to Israel and this much to this and this. So, yeah, that was the bill that they were going to pass anyway, and it's like a must-pass bill. You must pass this bill, and then they put the stimulus thing onto it to make sure the stimulus thing would then get passed. So I'm trying to find obviously the exact tweet thread, but I don't think I thought I liked it, but I can't find it.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. It's
got
Yar Rosenberg, YAIR Rosenberg, just Yar _ Rosenberg. The COVID bill did not, in fact, contain $500 million for Israel. Congress passed a suite of bills, including COVID relief and the bill funding the Defense Department for 2021, which includes foreign aid. This isn't hard unless you know nothing about Congress. And then there's like an entire thread that goes into like point by point the things people are saying. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. So I don't know how reliable as a source he is, but it is a counterpoint saying maybe the thing that you think is like, oh, well, they could afford to spend all this, they could afford to spend a little bit more over here, which I'm not disagreeing with. I'm just saying it's not as a gotcha as some people seem to think that statement is. It's like there's actually a bit more to it.
Yeah, and among the other things that has been that our government in particular is trying to pull through includes things like wanting to make, you know, like piracy streaming sites, you know, like your anime sites where you can go and watch anime, whether you can legally access it or not. You know, and it's good for getting certain series that you can't easily get legally for whatever reason. But they want to make that I think hosting that a felony, which that's a bit bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm already seeing friends looking at it like, yeah, they're going to use this to disenfranchise the younger people and the people who don't have the means to get a lot of this shit legally. So, you know, which, by the way, I'm going to say this when it comes to your media or whatever. If you can get it legally, do it. But if you can't, pirate. Fuck it.
I'm actually a big supporter. I bought...
Yeah.
I actually legally downloaded some music. I managed to get it from the iTunes, so I paid how much it was on iTunes. But as soon as I can get hold of the physical CD, I still got the physical CD. I like having physical media.
Yes.
Yeah. And you can do both. I mean, I did similar, like, oh god, back when Lindsay Lohan released her first music album, I initially pirated it because I didn't have the money for it, and it was like, you know, I like it, it's a banger.
Yeah.
And then later on, I ended up buying the CD because it's like, yeah, this is good. It's worth the $10 or however much I paid for it.
I would say if you're not sure about something, especially if it's a series, especially a long run series like anime can tend to be, maybe pirate the first couple episodes just to see if it's something you're gonna want to invest the money in.
Yeah. And even then with certain anime series, like look on your Crunchyrolls, look on your Funimations or whatever, they do offer free streaming, although in a lot of cases they do have ads to go with it.
Yeah.
But it's still easily accessible. You know, for your Dr. Stones or your not Harigu. Harigu is not easily accessible. But your Dr. Stones, your JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, you can access them easily. Both of them are on Crunchyroll. I think Dr. Stone, I know, is on Funimation. JoJo might be as well. I don't know. But the point is, you have access to those. Harigu, on the other hand, is a pain in the ass to find. You can't find it streaming anywhere. And trying to get a DVD is probably like, you know, trying to, you know, pull a tooth out of a horse's ass. I don't know.
See? I
don't know why I went with ass. They don't have teeth there.
That's why it's impossible.
Yeah.
It did make me think if posting this up is illegal, like whatever. How about, this is just a suggestion, and this is for any company, any film, TV production company in the world. Most of them have their own official channels now. Have a couple of episodes, like maybe a pilot episode or something, of this product if it's new or relatively a year or so out, like old enough that the DVD exists, and then put a link to where you can buy it. So here's our first couple of episodes. Here's where you can buy the rest.
That would be good if everybody had easy access to buying the DVDs.
Yeah, but
or Blu-rays or whatever. I mean, I think probably the best.
It just fell out of my head.
I think the best way for them to do it, like you said, having their own services. Just put them all up there for free. Have some ads, as long as they're not intrusive. As long as you can skip the longer ones. We don't need 10-minute ads on some sort of sports bullshit or what have you. Thank you, YouTube. Although I've noticed that with YouTube ads, I don't always get the super long ones when I'm watching on the computer, but I'll put on like the Apple TV and slap like a YouTube playlist on or something while I go to sleep. And every now and then, I would get like a whole ass music video as an ad.
Wow.
Like,
I've gotten that before.
Yeah. And while I technically could skip it, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
So yeah, just goddamn. But yeah, making piracy a felony? No. Like, if it's something that's not easily accessible, make it easily accessible. Put the onus on the companies, make it happen, and boom, there you go. If you have easy access, piracy is going to go down. It's never going to be gone completely, but it will go down.
I sort of think
it will considerably go down.
I can't remember the exact details, but people were saying, why do the UK, Europe keep getting the Marvel movies before America? And apparently doing that, like even a couple of weeks beforehand, brings down the piracy for those projects and films way down. Like if England gets them first, then the piracy of them goes down like hugely. I can't remember where I saw that and like the exact numbers, but yeah, apparently they see a significant drop in it.
Interesting.
Oh, so it actually works, and it could even, if you do it right with the advertising and everything, it could actually make these companies more money than they would fighting piracy. Probably, I'm guessing.
I'm saying this as the technical minority in this group of three, but it could also be the fact that because America doesn't tend to look outside its own borders, maybe they don't realise that England and the rest of Europe are getting it first, but England knows America's getting stuff first.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why America doesn't try to pirate the other way around.
Yeah. And there are plenty of countries that get things before every other country. I mean, anime.
Yeah.
Japan tends to get that first.
Nice.
Fair enough.
So, it's a thing. But yeah, and speaking of streaming, Twitch, why? I know during one of the times we were meant to record and just didn't happen. Scully, you were looking into Twitch stuff, and you had a couple of things. Yeah, so but before we get into that, how has y'all's past couple of weeks been? We'll start with Michelle on this one.
Busy.
Oh yeah.
Well, for those of you, for a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. Yes, for the last couple of weeks we haven't been here, but within those last couple of weeks I've been like, dudes, I'm gonna have to tap out. I'm not gonna be available. I sometimes think maybe I've suddenly become the glue because someone's dumbass kept blanking out and not doing the recordings. not naming names.
That would be me. No, I fully take responsibility for that one.
Yes.
That is my dumbass.
So, yeah, basically the reason was because, as I've mentioned before, my job is basically as a cleaner for a company. I work for one company and multiple locations. One of the ladies went ill, but she was the lady in the restaurant. There's a whole thing going on with that at the moment. Excuse me. So she went ill, so I was covering her, but that's not too bad because it's in the morning. So get up, go to the restaurant, do the other job, come home, got the afternoon to myself. Then the other lady went ill, and she's the one that has the Manx. Now, because I don't want to repeat of last time where I was actually getting up 5 a.m. to do one bank, then going everywhere else, I was like, no, I'm not doing it this time. And because my primary hours is in an office, which at the moment nobody's working in. So basically, I'm getting paid 2.5 hours to sit on my ass. Because I can, like, originally I had to go into the office after the office shut, which meant, you know, I had a knock-on effect on the times I could go into the bank and all this stuff. So I didn't want to be coming home near midnight. So this time, because I knew I could go into the office earlier during the day, they go to the banks when they're closed. Technically, if I time everything properly, I could get home by about 9 o'clock, which would still be too late for doing this, but I wouldn't be completely dead. Of course, my dumb ass didn't get up and go into the office sometimes, so some nights I was finishing like 10 o'clock in the day. It was a whole thing. So, yeah, I've basically been very, very tired. On top of that, I've actually not been doing that for a week now. The both ladies are fine. They're back at... Well, I say they're both back at work. Hey, guess what Boris did? He put my area of the country into a new tier 4, series of, like, because in England we have our restrictions are tiered, so the least amount of cases they get to be tier 1, which is like, yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want, just as long as you're careful, keep the social distancing and masking up, that's fine. And then it goes down up the line, so tier 2, a few more restrictions, tier 3, more restrictions, tier 4. Basically, tier 3 and 4 means that restaurants can't open unless they're just doing, like, takeaway. So the restaurant that I sometimes work at does have a takeaway service. So they're not doing entirely as terrible as they could be. But it means that myself and the other lady who cleaned the floors of the main restaurant area haven't got anywhere to clean because they're not open. So she's basically got back to work, and then a few days later, there's no work for her.
Yeah.
Because I actually worked it out between the original lockdown, then her going ill again, and then like coming back. She went ill a couple of times, like before and after, like she had a scheduled holiday, then she went ill. It was like a whole thing. I think over the last 3 months, she's maybe been in there for about 2 or 3 weeks. It's been kind of crazy. She has another contract. She's got other things she does, like. But yeah.
Yeah.
So everything's been crazy. And on top of that, like, separate from the ladies being, like I said, I'm glad they're better now, and that, no one's back at work where they should be, or when they can be. I've been doing advent calendars every day, about 5 or 6 advent calendars, and one of them still hasn't arrived yet. I ordered it ages ago, and it still hasn't arrived. So I've been doing a daily vlog every day as well. So check that out. Link will be below, I'm sure, because I'll remind him.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, it's on your YouTube,
it's
right?
on my YouTube, but I'll give you the direct link for the playlist.
Okay.
So feel free to watch that. So that's
there
been
you
my
go.
few weeks. Scully?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, well, mostly I've just been helping out my team's doing a friggin' fan game. Man, the one dude who's developing this shit, man, that guy's a powerhouse.
Oh,
Man,
wow.
I mean, I was telling him, hey, you don't have to do this, we can just release it as a comic, and, but he really wanted to do it, and, I mean, the dude, damn, that dude works hard. And, like, I'm saying, like, dude, you can take a break. I mean, I don't want to, like, put you under crunch. But he's like, no, I want to do this. So, that's good, at least.
Yeah. I mean, and at least he's the one putting himself under it.
Yeah.
It's not like he's being forced by a multi-million-dollar company to be put under those conditions and to release a game that's half finished anyway and have to be recalled and refunded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, man, today, a ton of crazy shit happened. Like, really just, like, 3 really crazy shit happened, right in a row. Okay. Like, first, my USB mouse quit working, so gotta use a touchpad, which is really awkward.
Oh.
Yep. And, then, apparently some guy, in a trailer, in a pickup truck fucking knocked over our mailbox, so, gotta get that replaced.
Oh, no.
Yep, and then, apparently either the dog or some other wild animal fucking put a deer bone on our back, patio. Like, what? Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Here for you. That's a bone. It's gift you take. You like.
I was gonna say, isn't like
That's the thing about
in
dogs.
Animal Land, isn't that I trust you? Here's a present.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's like a cat killing a mouse, leaving it on the porch.
Yeah.
Yup.
Or a snake. Snake happened to my mother when she was younger.
Oh,
lordy.
boy.
And she is a videophobic.
Dang.
So
Yeah.
that's always fun. Well, it's either a dog or my uncle. I don't remember which one it was.
That sounds like a story.
There's not really much to it. It's like just walk out, suddenly dead snake.
No,
Oh, shit.
the idea is, well, it could be the dog, or it could be my uncle playing silly buggers.
Yeah.
Good God.
Oh. But yeah, so yeah, I teased at Twitch a little bit earlier, and I know this was something Scully wanted to bring up on the show too, because you had an initial thing, and then more got added on between the time you brought it up and now.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So you wanna pull that out for us, or?
Yeah. Okay, let me scroll up a bit. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, this was posted to Twitter. Fuck, let me. Twitch now. Oh wait, no. That's a bit after that.
Yeah. Oh
Think I
yeah.
found, yeah, basically, I can't find the tweet, but basically they're changing the word blind playthrough in the tags to first time playthrough, and their reasoning is, blind playthrough is offensive to blind people and visually impaired people, and apparently they consulted someone who was a disability advocate. No, the person wasn't even blind. He's quadriplegic. He can't speak for blind people. He can speak for quadriplegics, but
Yeah.
Even there, it's not homogeneous.
and also, yeah.
Right.
I mean, and okay, and I can say as a severely visually disabled person that blind playthrough isn't even slightly offensive. I mean,
Yeah.
and same with using idioms like turn a blind eye. Like, no. And assuming that we are offended by that, that's ableism. That's just infantilizing us and treating us like we're like completely oversensitive little fragile snowflakes. We're not.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, and if they really wanted to help blind people, they could have a larger text mode or a high contrast mode. That would actually help visually disabled people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and of course, with the fact that it's been a couple of weeks since this was even brought up, it's like on the one hand, there is everything you just said, because I have like really bad astigmatism, and the doctor who I went to, the eye doctor I went to get my eyes checked so I can have my contacts, was like, I don't know if I can do it. It was like, spoiler alert, it's possible. I'm wearing them now.
Yes.
But even then, it's like, come on, y'all. We blind playthrough. I doubt that there was very many people who are up in arms. Are like, don't call it blind playthrough. I highly doubt that. On the other hand, as performative as this comes across and likely is, changing it to first playthrough does sound a little more inclusive overall, but at the same time, it's like it's one of those changes where it's like on its own it's benign, but at the same time it's like not really needed.
Yeah.
So it's like it would be like if somebody offered me a free leg shave. It's like, I don't need it. It doesn't hurt me if I have it done, but it's just like whatever. So yeah, so it's like I agree with both sides on this one. is it performative? Is it just them, as somebody had put it, virtue signaling? Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But at the same time, it's still using more inclusive language, regardless of the reason. So it's not inherently bad either. So I'm kind of on both on this one.
Yeah, I understand the other side, but
Yeah. So it's...
Sorry, I was going to say, as someone who doesn't use or watch Twitch almost at all, but has seen, like, on YouTube, like, blind reaction to an episode of this thing, or a reaction to this commercial or whatever, I always just assumed that blind meant, they haven't seen it before. I never thought it was like, what, reactions for blind people? That's kind of cool. It was like...
Yeah.
So,
although that would not be a bad idea if an actual blind person wants to get in on it, because when I think blind, I mean you can't see, period. So
I mean,
that's where I go.
I mean, I suppose a reaction channel where someone is reacting to audio descriptions on something, and like I've never listened to anything on audio description. Now, I theoretically could watch something with audio description, because almost every Doctor Who DVD I have, certainly of the modern era, has an audio description option, which I've never needed. But like, as an experiment, I could say, let's sit here with my eyes closed or laying down and watch an episode, like something I would already be familiar with, and how does the audio description match up with my memory of the visuals? So if someone were to do, hey, as I am a person who is visually impaired, I'm going to react to this thing, audio description only, and tell you, and give you my thoughts on that. You can see the pictures, but I can't see the pictures. Does what I'm hearing match what you're seeing? Mate,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if there'd be a market for it, but I'd certainly watch the first couple of episodes. Now I've mentioned it, it's like, okay, let's see what they've got going on here.
Interesting. Yeah.
So we go from this thing that Twitch did with the first playthrough, blind playthrough, whatever. And then they shit the bed. Unambiguously shit the bed.
Yeah.
So we who are in and pay attention to the world of gaming, streaming, videos, whatever, we know that there are some issues with certain people saying certain words. I myself, I've been browsing a lot of speedrun.com just to look at like speedruns from older people, and I'm actually thinking of doing some of them myself. But there was one guy who kept on using certain slurs, the R slur, if you will. And I'm like, you know what? No, I just can't. I'm sure he did a very fine job. He was a world record holder. I don't remember the dude's name, but it's unwatchable to me because of that. Just no. And if somebody's gonna be like, well, you can't stand somebody saying those words. Well, right now, no. So, and that's my right.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Twitch is wanting to, ban people from, saying certain words and saying, hey, if you say these words, it's against TOS. Problem is, the words include simp, incel, and virgin.
So what if you happen to be a British broadcaster who happens to use the Virgin network for various things? I have it for my phone, TV, internet, and mobile. It's just a company. Or if you're talking about the airline company. Or fun fact I know that I don't know if I mentioned it before, but Mates Condom is also owned by the Virgin Group, or it was, and they used to be called Mates. They used to call them Virgin Condoms, but they realised that actually didn't sound right, so that's where they come up with Mates instead.
Yeah.
That's just a corporate example I could think of. There are plenty of other reasons to use. What if you're playing a game that uses Virgin in the context of its gameplay in any way, shape, or form? Maybe you're playing a witchy game. Maybe you're playing something that just happens to have it in the dialogue. That's so stupid. Please continue.
Yeah, I would say you couldn't play Honey Pop because of it, but you can't play Honey Pop anyway. At least not on Twitch.
Yeah.
No.
On YouTube maybe, but not on Twitch.
Yeah,
and on YouTube you have to use very much liberal covering up there. I actually have a run of Honey Pop on my YouTube channel, which breaks out the happy Mega Man heads. But anyway, by this logic, could we not play, one or two of the Gen 3 Pokemon games because Archie uses the word simp? Could we not do that? Can we just not have discussions about how toxic incel culture has been? Do we not want to? Are we going to try and do away with this self-reflection that can lead people to being better people and leading better lives? Because that's where Twitch is wanting to go with just these 3 words alone. I mean, and yeah, some of us will find other ways to say these same damn things, but it's like, really? There are worse words to worry about. These words, it's like a virgin. Okay, that's somebody who simply has not had sex yet. Incel, involuntary celibacy. That's what it's short for. Simp, I still don't quite get it outside of the context of you really, really, really like a person and you want to support them. And somebody's trying to shame you for it, in which case you just give them the bird.
Yeah.
So it's like you could go in such a better direction with this, Twitch. You really could.
You know what I want to say here,
But,
even though it doesn't actually apply to Twitch? Okay, Boomer.
There you go.
Yes.
Just wouldn't be surprised it's run by a boomer.
I know, generationally speaking, as a piece of kit and technology, like, Twitch is probably more as Gen Zer in terms of its age, but okay, Boomer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boomer's a mindset.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's just it again, to go back to the first part, the blind playthrough, the first playthrough, again, both sides I agree with. It's useless but relatively harmless, and in more inclusive languages, I can agree with more inclusive language regardless of the reasons. That's fine. But when it comes to making words against your terms of service, why don't you listen to the black people who get called the N-word? Why don't you listen to mentally deficient people, I don't even know if that's the right term, being called the R-slur?
I think learning disabled or other...
Learning just...
Intellectually disabled, that's the term.
Okay. Intellectually disabled, got it.
I've not really heard that
But
one before.
still.
I think
Yeah.
there's a few different things.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Yeah. But things like that there, it's like you're not paying attention to these. You're basically saying, okay, we're gonna take these fucking gamer gators, we're gonna insulate them a little bit more by not letting them be referred to as simps, incels, and virgins. Or in the case of simp, it's like, okay, we're gonna talk at them about them calling somebody a simp for subscribing to their OnlyFans, but in exchange, nobody else can refer to them as incels and virgins, even though that's literally what they are a lot of times.
I kind of have an analogy for this. It covers a few different things. So I kind of came up with it. Have you heard about the Kira Bell case here in the UK? Right,
Who?
basically she is someone who detransitioned and then took it to high court and is now trying to basically make it illegal for children under 16 to gain access to puberty blockers without high court approval. Basically they've got to go take it to court, which according to actual trans people that I watched a couple of reaction videos to, one of them said they're still a relatively young person, and they said they were on the waiting list so long they became too old to go to this young person's clinic. And now they're trying to add an extra step.
Good God.
I've seen a couple of different things. It's like I see people saying, well, I asked this person about it and they said it was okay, or they didn't like it. And I was like, okay, so here's the analogy. It's basically along the lines of, this is why we can't have nice things. So our friend Aaron does not like tomatoes. Therefore, we are not allowed to have tomatoes because he doesn't like them. Because basically that's what you're saying. If one person doesn't like the thing, or they had a bad experience with the thing, nobody else can now enjoy the thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's just...
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's like, I don't like pickles. I also don't like raw tomatoes. And if somebody else does, you know what I say to them? More for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations, more for you.
Actually, that being said,
hey, I'm not eating.
Aaron doesn't mind tomatoes if it's like part of a sauce. He's not a big fan of eggs on their own, but he'll obviously bake with them. So even then, it's not hard and fast rule for him.
Yeah. You know, I'll have like the sauce and the ketchup and all of that, but you know,
No,
just on their own, no.
I don't think he likes ketchup.
And pickles are a no-go for me anyway, so. But yeah, just Twitch, no. And speaking of no's and everything, real quick before we go to our break, I want to bring this up because, yeah, of all of the things that are trying to be pushed through Congress and the government of the United States, they're coming after the sex workers again.
Oh boy.
Because of course they are. Because we need to fight the human trafficking, which noble goal, but you're going about it the wrong way. Because the way to, because I'm gonna take a page out of Dune on this one, and it's where I have no idea if it's gonna make it into any film adaptation. It didn't make it in '84, but it's where Paul is talking to the Reverend Mother Mohayim about understanding processes, and Paul brings up his teachings with his mentat Thufir Hawat, in which Thufir tells them, you know, you can't understand a process by stopping it. You have to move with it, move with the flow, and then you can understand it. What these guys are doing in terms of understanding how to stop trafficking, they're just trying to stop it all, and that's not going to help anybody. By moving along with the flow and listening to sex workers and allowing them to help and giving them legal means to defend themselves in certain areas, should something go caca, then, you know, that will help a lot more. Because then they know to keep an eye out, okay, wait, this fucker is doing this, and they will go after them and they will bring them to the law. In fact, from what I understand, Backpage, when that thing was a lot more prominent for sex workers, they were a big help in finding and identifying all of these creeps who are trafficking, you know, these human traffickers. So they're really shooting themselves in the foot.
It's like,
so that is under it's under all of that that I found. Y'all remember when Bella Thorne fleeced a whole bunch of people out of money through OnlyFans?
nope.
Yeah.
Sorry, I never heard of her before you mentioned her the other day, so please, enlighten me.
Okay, so a quick recap. Bella Thorne, model, good-looking woman. She goes on OnlyFans, and when somebody does OnlyFans, it's usually for porn or some kind of sex work. Usually. There are exceptions, but it's usually for porn and sex work.
Yep.
And she went on OnlyFans, and she even said things like, "Oh, I'll have nudes," or what have you, you know. And so people signed up. She made like at least $1 million or $2 million in a day, just from people wanting to see her naked. And she didn't deliver. Long story short, it's like, oh. So that caused OnlyFans to change up their thing to prevent people like Bella Thorne from pulling this shit again. And then she pulls this. She is basically saying she was first on OnlyFans, as in first big name on OnlyFans or what have you. When there are several other big names that have made it on OnlyFans in and outside of the porn industry. So she ain't the first. She was never the first. And just no.
To reiterate how much she wasn't the first, I still don't know who she is. You said she's this model person.
Yeah.
I have no context. I don't know if I've seen her anything or what. The name does not ring a single bell.
Yeah. According to the article I have in the thing, she was in a thing called Dirty Sexy Money.
I think I may have heard of that. Is that a Tom Cruise film?
I have no idea. But yeah, just really, you were not the first. You were not the first mainstream actress or mainstream model. You were definitely not the first porn actress, because yeah, you probably look down on porn. She's probably the kind of person who would look down on porn actresses, to be completely honest with you. But I could be wrong, and if I am, I will be happy to be wrong. But just so yeah, fuck Bella Thorne. And I don't mean in the fun way. I don't care how good she looks. No, fuck her.
No.
So any quick thoughts on all of this before we go to break?
I did have that thought I had about, and you've kind of corrected it between initial posting and saying it now, that the whole idea of OnlyFans being, you know, as a safe space for sex workers of various flavours, yeah, like, my understanding of the history is it wasn't just for, it was for people who had a bit of a following to, hey, here's a little extra thing, and like Jimmy Snow was doing it to be like, internet dad, hey, I'll send you wholesome memes and encourage you. And then he kind of felt like, you know, he made a statement, which I don't have in front of me, about how he's gonna, you know, not do it anymore because, you know, respecting sex workers. I'm just like, okay, yeah, cool if you want to do that, but that, and I know we had a bit of a conversation about the thing, that to me seems a bit gatekeepy. Like, it wasn't just, and I saw a couple of comments under his thread basically saying, well, I'm a sex worker and I don't have a problem with you being there if you want to do wholesome stuff on there. And yeah, not to say, you know, you shouldn't respect sex workers, you should pay for your porn if you can afford it. I must admit, I don't always. There are certain websites you can go to where you can find GIFs and stuff that are quite fun. If I was going to get like a full video, you know, actually bother with it. To be honest, I kind of don't have to, not because of that, but because I still have a bundle of CDs that I found once when I was working for the council that I still haven't gone through them all yet. So I don't need to pay for it because I have a big pile.
Nice.
That's fair.
But yeah, so I'm not saying that any person in any industry shouldn't get properly compensated for their work and they should feel safe and secure in their work. However, the idea of like, well, you can't come in here because we've made it for us when it wasn't initially set up for you specifically, kind of rubs against my anti-gatekeeping, don't be a douche kind of, you know, thing. It's like, yeah, okay, but it wasn't initially, and please stop being a jerk because you're making everyone else look bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also,
I mean,
sorry. You say your thought because mine's kind of a tangential thought.
Okay, but in terms of that, I can see where somebody would be coming from on that, considering how sex workers just in general have had, you know, and I'm talking like your smaller ones, not the ones who can get signed on with like Vivid or Brazzers or whatever. They do have a rough time getting their material out there, with places like Instagram or Facebook not wanting to have anything near it on their platforms. TikTok, I know, is starting to try and crack down. Twitter sometimes will pull some bullshit.
Tumblr committed suicide
I
with
haven't
it.
seen that. Yeah. So naturally, if they see people who are not so much into it, they're going to be a little. They're going to look at you like you're a little sus. But I think, but you know, it doesn't excuse the gatekeeping.
Yeah.
But it's understandable. You know why they'd be a little unnerved, because like if you get somebody, like say Bella Thorne coming in, Bella Thorne is basically what they fear. She comes in, makes a mockery of it. And if too many people do that, then OnlyFans is going to be denied them. And that's not even counting certain websites not wanting to, Visa and MasterCard not wanting to process payments through certain sites because of porn. So, yeah, they're a little on edge.
The other,
and I don't blame them.
the other sort of tangential follow-up thought I had, excuse me, was that outside of the gatekeeping aspect of it, which I would say is just me, but you seem to agree with, like, in principle, you can see where I'm coming from with that. It's also, there's a lot, it seems to be a kind of an othering going on. It's like them versus us. It's like, well, this is our space and we're doubling down. And if you truly believe in inclusion, now, with the obvious exception of making sure that people that are too young or vulnerable to be looking at the stuff they shouldn't be looking at, and I say vulnerable because now, even when I was 18, I wasn't, hadn't fully been curious at that point. Like, as I said before, the age of consent in the UK is 16. I turned 16, I was like, I wasn't interested. But there are some people who mature a bit faster that may be body curious, that as long as it's nothing too extreme, I would say, like, if you want to look at it and you're not exposing someone too young to it. However, with the the only time I would say gatekeeping is good is, legally keep it to over 18s or the legal age in your country. As long as it's all child safe. Stop othering. Stop them versus us. Stop. That's the only time it should be exceptional, is if it's protecting young and vulnerable people. Because even people who are older than 18 may still not want to look at that, which is why tags are important.
Yeah.
Even on places where, like, hey, I want to look at sexy stuff, but there are certain sexy things that don't do it for me. Please don't show me them. That's...
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I kind of had it in my head and it's sort of fallen out again. But it is creating an us versus them environment where, sex workers, yes, they want a place they can share their wares in a safe environment where they're not going to get mocked or dragged down for it. And then other people think, oh, hey, look, we just want a small corner where we can just do our wholesome stuff. And if, like, the more negative, more aggressive, sex workers are, well, no, because this is our space. And then they say, well, no, actually, it wasn't your space. It was originally our space, but we just let you in. And then you get this kind of internal fracturing, which shouldn't happen. You need to come together and, like...
Yeah.
Do you want to put that in a sentence that makes more sense? Because I feel like I'm going in different directions at once.
Yeah. It's like this. OnlyFans, at its heart, is for everyone. It's literally... It's like... I even, like... looked it up on wherever it was. I think I looked it up on just Wikipedia. And it's for everyone. It's basically Patreon with porn.
Yes.
That's basically what it is. So if you want to go on OnlyFans and have your thing on OnlyFans, that's fine. Whether you want to have sex with it or not. Sex with it, sex on it. Or with it if you dress somebody up the right way. We can work with that. It's called costumes. But there's nothing holding you back from making porn and putting it on there. Absolutely nothing. In fact, I've even followed, like, at least temporarily followed models who have OnlyFans while their main subscription feed is nothing. There's no real nudity on it. But they also have, like, little packages or PPV pay-per-views or whatever that they'll send you for the good stuff. So that's one way to do it. My personal one, it's free. If you want to see the goods, you just pay to unlock certain posts. That's it. That's really all it is. I find it better, but other people may disagree. Who knows, right?
But yeah. So does that make sense that maybe, if not intentionally, that kind of it's becoming a bit more fractious, and there is a bit of us versus them thing going on?
I can see where it can happen, yes, and I can see where it obviously has happened.
Yes.
And to those people who are a little bit overzealous, and it's like, calm down. Take each person as they come.
Yeah.
If it turns out to somebody that's like a Bella Thorne, yeet them.
Yeah.
If there's somebody like a Jimmy Snow, bring them in.
That's like, I'm not saying you can't have an issue with an individual if they are, say, for example, promoting anti-Semitic views. Well, like, if they got a swastika on their ass that's, they're bouncy, okay, maybe report that person. I don't know what the protocol is for that particular site.
Yeah.
But, so, individuals that are problematic, and even then I'd say go with the three, unless they're, like, literally saying, kill everything and everyone in this particular group, give them a 3-strike thing.
Yeah.
Have a protocol.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Scully, what do you have to say about Annie and all of this before we go to break?
I mean, yeah, I think y'all covered it, but yeah, it's yeah.
All right. So with that, we are going to go ahead and take our break, and when we come back, we're going to have some relatively lighter fare to talk about. For our little news articles that we brought in for this week. So yeah, stick around. Hey folks, we'll get back to the show in a moment, but first I want to tell you about Patreon. Patreon is what I use to get around all of the YouTube adpocalypse bullshit, and while I don't have a lot right now, every little bit does help. And if you like what you hear or what you see on any of my videos or podcasts, head on over there. For as little as $1 a month, you can get all of these things early before anybody else does, and you can get them completely ad-free. Yeah, I know YouTube right now is technically ad-free, but at some point, I'm probably going to get big enough to where ads will start coming in, and those can be annoying, so you want to avoid that, right? If you go ahead and go now over to patreon.com/Gomer21XX, leave $1, $5, doesn't matter how much, you can get all of these. Again, you can get them early, and you get them without ads, even when I reach the point on YouTube to where ads can be put on these videos. So it's a win-win. And you can even avoid the ads that go up on the Anchor versions that go out to all of the other websites that are out there. No ads. It's great. So that's patreon.com/Gomer21XX.
And now, an important message from Tyler Green, Kitty Quinn, and Randy Martin.
Are you tired of asking yourself if that obscure show or movie you watched once was a fever dream?
Is it still in your brain to this day as a 3 a.m. channel-changing hallucination? Well, join us as we yank that said memory out of your subconscious while we do a deep dive on it on Channel KRT.
Channel KRT is a new bi-weekly podcast where we look at the best and worst of obscure media. We'll be covering such topics as
The Puzzle Place,
Clown TV,
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show,
Reanimated,
The Weird Al Show,
We Sing,
and more. Join us every other week over at Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, and wherever podcasts can be heard. Channel KRT, cut to static.
Howdy, 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 everybody. Welcome to this little segment of the show I have just for myself in a show that I host, that I have a lot of room in. Never mind. But no, I wanted to make it clear, because I brought up speedrunning in the speedrunning community a little bit earlier, and since we also talked about Twitch, this kind of ties into all of this here. And starting with the night that this is recorded, so by the time you guys hear this, unless you're a patron, I'll have already done it, hopefully, as long as my equipment cooperates with me. Starting to do some speedrunning here and there on Twitch. And I'm not doing like Super Mario Brothers or anything. I'm going for Blaster Master 02, and I'm going to start practicing some 100% runs. Probably do like 4 or 5 of them, maybe submit the best one to speedrun.com, because over there they do not have anything in that category as of this recording. It could change by the time it gets to your ears. I don't know, but it's interesting to try. They do have several categories, and they do have other 100% categories, namely, I think, for DLC character Empress. So, there is that, but I want to do it as Jason, in the main game. See how fast that can be done. I think if you do it well enough and you get all the things right and everything, you could probably do it in between 2 and 3 hours, maybe less. I don't know. I haven't had a good full practice run yet, so we'll figure that out when we get there. It's going to take a lot of work, and if you want to watch me work it out, practice it, work out different things, just follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/Gomer21XX. I'm going to try and do it every Monday and Wednesday, stream every Monday and Wednesday. Every stream may not be a practice speed run, but I'm going to try and stream a little bit more often. Times will be from 6 to 10 p.m. Central Time, again, on my Twitch channel. And who knows, maybe I'll also do it on YouTube as well. We'll have to see what happens.
But yeah, I think that's about it that I wanted to talk about here. So I'll if I can squeeze in one on Fridays, I will. Obviously not this Friday. It's Christmas time, so no streaming that day unless I'm testing something. In which case, you can come hang out and test. I don't know, but but no like official streaming things from me until until after Christmas. And also I forgot to mention it in the plug. Speaking of streaming, every week we're Rosenthorn, myself, our friend Ethan, and streamer Astra all get together. We record a podcast called Random-A, in which we discuss a few anime series that we each bring to the table. I think for us right now it's Edo Rocket, Chobits, Seraph of the End, and Appare Ranmei. Those are the series we're watching and checking out, and so far it's been a lot of fun. Not sure where he's gonna have that posted. I'm gonna make sure he understands he can actually post it to the site since it's Rosen's baby and his child, and he is still a part of the site. So, so yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be the thing to look forward to. But we do live stream over on Rosen's Twitch channel whenever we do a recording as well. Which I believe it's Rosen_Thorn, or it's just Rosenthorn, and the Thorn is with an E. But yeah, that should be in with his links down in the doobly-doo as well, if that doesn't work. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the show. Trust me, it gets a lot lighter than what you just heard about. Take care, y'all. We are back from our break, and okay, we are going to lighten up this shit here. And by lighten up, I mean make sure you guys have iron stomachs.
Oh God!
Because this thing I found it a few days ago.
Oh, that thing, yeah.
I say a few days ago. Yeah. So this this particular article comes from SB Nation. And the person who wrote the article is, let me get that up, James Dator, Dator, Dator. Well, maybe he is a dater. There you go. And the headline reads, McDonald's is selling a Spam, Oreo, and mayo sandwich in China. Now see, here's the thing. I like Spam, and I will have Spam sandwiches with mayo, because that combination is good. Okay. I can agree with that. I usually have it with ketchup, but you know. But where it crosses the line is the Oreo. Why? I mean, have them on the side, but not in the sandwich, especially not with mayo. And I remember initially seeing this thing, and I think it was over in Rosen's Discord, where we saw the picture of the thing, and somebody was like, "No, that's not mayo. That's the cream. That's the Oreo cream." Turns out, no, that is actually mayo.
Ew!
Oh,
I must have skipped past the rest of that conversation.
Yeah, that's just, But the article itself, I make it a point to keep my eye on weird foods from around the world, but this one literally took my breath away. And a picture of the actual sandwich. Yes, this is the lunch meat burger. Burger? I don't know if that's a typo. A delight that features 2 pieces of grilled Spam, mayonnaise, got me good so far, and crushed up Oreos. Then you lost me. That little last bit was my editorializing. This culinary fusion at its finest. 3 corporate conglomerates merging to make one beautiful disaster of a sandwich. It has everything the body needs. The salty, the sweet, the gluttonous, and preservatives. It will nourish your soul and, likely, coat your insides with a thick film. It's just... Wow, and I should also note, this entire article is written in all caps.
Oh, wow.
My God.
You know, outside of an actual quote in the tweets that they put up with it as well. The sandwich comes with a price tag of $2, which is a bargain to experience a delight like this. Yeah. I love this so much because it feels like a sandwich dreamed up by a bored, stoned McDonald's employee at 3 a.m. who's like, I have some Spam, I have buns, and I can cannibalize some Oreos from the McFlurry station.
Let's go.
Totally.
A write-up by the Chicago Tribune. Yeah, a write-up by the Chicago Tribune notes that the sandwich is triggering an existential crisis by those who consume it, with a quote being, I thought it was delicious, said a comment signed B5 Mao enthusiast on the Sina Weibo microblog service. I have no idea if that's any accurate or any kind of racist. If it is, I apologize. Is that because I love McDonald's too deeply, or is something wrong with my taste?
Little column A.
Yeah. End of quote. Part of me feels the need to try this, but also I can imagine what this would taste like without an internal testing. It would be a creamy, gritty, over-seasoned mess.
Oh, yeah.
Yet I feel the gnawing need to do this. Thank you, McDonald's in China, for showing us the way to Flavor Town. Just wow. And you know what? You don't even need to go to China to try this.
No.
You just go you can get some sesame seed buns from your local Piggly Wiggly or whatever. You get Spam. Everybody has Spam. We have a few cans of Spam here. Mm-hmm. We have mayo. I think we have some Oreos somewhere around here. You can crush them all up and you can try it yourself if you really, really must.
Yep.
And let's see. I mean, the results are going to cost you more than one sandwich from McDonald's, but at the same time, let's see, a pack of buns is 8, so that's probably $3 being generous. Let's see, $3 for that. Let's say a couple bucks for a can of Spam, which you could probably slice up and make, half of that. So you're probably saving more money than spending on making like 4 to 8 of these on your own than buying 4 to 8 of those, because or maybe even equal price. I don't know. And that's just for the sandwiches themselves. I'm not counting things like fries, drink, desserts. Well, the desserts on the sandwich. So
Yes.
But yeah, just no. I mean, grilled Spam with mayo on a bun. That does sound good. Not gonna lie. Because I do like Spam, grilled and ungrilled. But, not with the cookies. No. Scully, do you have anything you want to add on this one?
Why would you desecrate Oreos like that? Yeah. Though, okay, I'm not really, I have never had Spam, so I can't comment on it. I'm not too fond of mayo unless it's the spicy kind.
Right.
But yeah, but if I was gonna eat this, I wouldn't put friggin' Oreos on it. Like, good God. I'd sooner put friggin' French fries on the burger. That could be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Michelle?
Spam, egg, spam, mayonnaise, spam, and Oreos.
Oh, Lordy.
Spam. Sorry, that's everything my brain was coming up with thinking. I personally not a big fan of Oreos. I find them a bit too gritty. Maybe that's my British biscuit snob coming out, but we actually have ranges and different types of biscuits, and like you can get honeycomb and various types of creams and flavors, and I just find Oreos just kind of like Not for me, thanks.
They're not my favorite cookie, but
Yeah.
But also, what? What?
Ooh, yeah. Person had to have been stoned.
They had to have been.
Sorry. I have gone on record as saying, if someone were to give me unless it's got mushrooms in, because I really don't like mushrooms. I can't remember what the thing was before.
Right.
I think something Eli had found. Oh no, it was that weird eggs with whipped cream, like fake fairy cakes things.
Oh yeah.
And I went on record saying, if someone handed that to me, I would try it to say that I had. To say, you know what, I'll give it a go. Someone made this, you've offered it to me. I like egg, the cream sounds alright, whatever. At least I can say I tried it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have tried
that particular.
I've tried other luncheon meats. Not It's all right. It's a pork luncheon meat. It's a bit spicy. I can't remember. Not sure if I've actually tried branded spam, but I have tried tinned ham, tinned pork before. My dad likes it grilled. So again, individual aspects. Even putting aside the fact I'm not a big fan of Oreos, individual parts. Okay, yeah, fine. All together. Again, if you handed it to me, I'd probably at least take a bite to say I did. But I'm not saying I'd go seek it out.
Yeah.
Weird food. Try it if you want to say you did it. But no, there's just no. You're right. I agree with the stoner assessment. It's just like no. Just, some things are too strange.
I have been stoned, and even Stoner Gomer will be like, "No, man, no."
But that said, anything that prompts a good Monty Python reference, it can't be all bad.
You brought the little egg cream things or whatever from a while ago. I actually made a TikTok video reacting to that because that is something that is inherently a white person thing. No other group that I know of could or would come up with shit like that.
Because wasn't the idea they were supposed to be a
white ass honky?
Weren't they supposed to be like a prank thing? Like, lols. Especially the thing is, if you put that at a kid's party, some kids eat weird things, so they'll probably love it.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of eating weird things, I can't give them too much shit because I have had Skittles on pepperoni pizza.
Interesting.
Yeah, which it's good enough on its own. Problem is, whenever I burp afterwards, it tastes like soap.
The thing is, I'm not totally against the idea because sweet and salty, done right, can be quite interesting. And pepperoni is quite salty, but it's more for me the texture of Skittles that can be quite chewy and they don't. You want your sweet to be a similar texture so it doesn't hang around your mouth longer than the salty, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And Skittles tend to hang around.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah. And apparently when you combine those with a pizza, you burp soap. Or at least the taste.
Wow.
I found that out in high school. I think somebody dared me to do it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. What the hell? It's not gonna hurt me. So I did it. And people were they were astonished, like, oh shit, you did it. And I happened to burp while I was hanging out with a bunch of people, and we were hanging out with our band director at the time. And I mentioned, why does it taste like soap? My band director was like, well, I can't finish my meal now. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Oh, so yeah, that was my thing. Now, Scully, I know you brought up a couple of them.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, God. All right. So, this one is just hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. It's in Western Australia. Police hunt well-dressed man who drew penis pictures on pavement by spinning wheels of electric bike. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Dick and balls. Police in Western Australia are on the hunt for a well-dressed cyclist who allegedly drew lewd penis images on the pavement by spinning the wheels of his electric bike. At approximately 4:50 p.m. on Monday, November 30th, a man caused damage to the ground on Murray Street in Perth. Crime Stoppers WA, I keep reading that as Washington, said in media release. The man has appeared to spin the wheels of an electric bicycle in order to draw explicit images with rubber from the tires. This has resulted in multiple images drawn on the ground. Western Australia police released CCTV images of the man described as having olive skin, thin to average build, and short black hair. Yeah, he is well dressed.
Yeah.
He wore a black business jacket, white business shirt, light blue jeans, and gray running shoes, police said. If you have any information about the identity of these men or details of this offense, please contact Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous if you wish to, and rewards are available once charges are laid. Facebook post by Western Australia Police has attracted more than 1,400 comments, with many ridiculing the serious tone. I hear police are still working on a cold case from Wanneroo High School in the 1980s where someone drew a similar picture on one of the blackboards in the English department, one person wrote. Yeah. Another person asked, could these cases be related? Has the criminal returned? Some comment on the man's looks. Jonah from Tonga has not aged well at all, one said. Love that cheeky grin on his face. A lovable rascal, another wrote. One person likened the man to British street artist Banksy's West Australian cousin. When you order Banksy from Wish, another said. God, this is hilarious.
Lordy.
Another user said they wish their stolen wallet and credit card had this much attention and a social media post. Oh, man. But others described the man's actions as childish. Whatever his punishment, I'm sure he will have to write it on the board 100 times at recess, one person wrote. It comes after ACT police last week went on the hunt for a graffiti artist responsible for a wave of cute dinosaur images spray painted across the national capital.
Aww.
Many Canberra locals, that's pretty adorable. Many Canberra locals similarly took to Facebook to defend the vandals, saying they liked the images, which spread positive messages like love and be safe.
Aww.
Those dinosaurs are around my suburbs, and I love them, and they genuinely make me smile, one woman wrote.
Yeah.
Well,
the seriousness they take this, it's like, he's drawing dicks on the ground with burnt rubber.
I'm not sure what accent that was supposed to be, but I don't think it was Australian.
Yeah. All I can say is, who's been drawing dicks?
It's truth, mate. Can you start working on these accents a bit better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I how easy is it to just wipe off burnt rubber? I mean, like, you don't need to go after this guy. It's a sidewalk. If it isn't fucking up the integrity of the sidewalk, let him go. I
went for a walk. This was during the first lockdown in the summer. I went to the local park and I picked a route around the park where I knew I could go, and then came home. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I got home and saw my Google Maps that I realised, oh, that's a peen. no testes, just the shaft with an actual bit of a head, and I was like, oh, that's a.
There you go.
And that was completely unintentional. This guy obviously did it intentional, but it was like, and
yeah,
he was clearly dicking around. He knew what he was doing.
Dick and balls.
Yeah, just wow. Let him go. Leave him alone.
Yeah, there's a lot worse he could have drawn, than a dick and balls.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst you have to do? Mummy, what is that on the ground? Oh, that's a penis. That's what you have in your pants. My accent is going all over the place.
Yeah.
But
why is it whenever Americans try to do Australian, they end up in England?
I don't know. And the thing is, I subscribe to at least one Australian on YouTube, and I should have a better handle on it.
I've been growing up with Australian soap, so I've kind of got a little bit more in my head. So, in fact, I actually side tangent a little bit. I was myself it was originally this is on Zen server, so it was myself, Kitten, and our friend Jake were in this chat, and then Philip, Zen's editor, came and joined the chat, and he's obviously from Australia, and we were just chatting about all sorts of stuff, and I happened to bring up the show Neighbours, and we were kind of talking about that a little bit. And he said, actually, I wanted to know like people outside of Australia, all this stuff, and I said, okay, yeah, I have an answer for you, but before I answer, to our American friends, do you have any idea what we're talking about? They were like, no. And it wasn't until afterwards. I don't think we ever actually explained it to them. For those of you who are curious,
Oops.
and especially Jake and Kitten, Neighbours and Home and Away, which we also name checked, are long-running daytime soaps in Australia.
Ah, okay.
And Neighbours in particular is famous for launching the careers, amongst others, of Jason Donovan and Kylie Minogue.
Oh, cool.
So that's who they are. Oh, and himself's awake.
Yeah. So this last bit, Scully put in our silly channel in the Discord, and I wanted to go over this because this is thematic. We're gonna end on a Christmassy note.
Yes.
So just from a local, like a California-based thing, man dressed as Grinch attempts to steal packages in Carson. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Carson deputies responded to several calls of a certain suspect trying to steal Christmas on Friday. When arriving at the scene, authorities found the Grinch himself trying to swipe packages off people's doorsteps. Deputies promptly arrested the imposter and reminded people on Twitter to always remember to remove valuables from your car, schedule deliveries when you'll be home, and have friends or neighbors keep an eye on your doorstep. You know, it would be easy to schedule deliveries if people could possibly keep them. I don't know. At least one person is always here, so not a big issue for us. Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like, oh, you need it by this? Well, we're going to deliver it 5 hours later. And that's not to say they're doing it to be dicks. It's just, you know, yeah, you got 5 people who need it at like 5 o'clock in 5 different parts of town, in which if you take the route like you're supposed to, you're going to make a pentagram out of the damn thing.
I've asked.
So, you know, that's kind of the thing. In other words, scheduling can be hell.
I asked Aaron about that because I said, is it just me? And he goes, no, it's actually because I was watching my parcel on the map once. It's like it's going over there, and over here. It's like I even like, okay, I can say it because it's my local area. I said, even I can think of a route that's a lot more straightforward than the route it's taking. He said, it's algorithm. We don't do the route. The algorithm picks the routes. So I said to him, is some like got scheduled timing? He says, no, just the algorithm.
Fuck, man. I can, you know, having been driving trucks, you know, we get sent a route and all of that, and they can automatically put it in. But you know what we can do? We can trip plan our own shit, even in places we don't really know, because we have maps, we have Googles, and all of that. So we can trip plan a little bit better. So if this route says, hey, go through, go through fucking New Orleans, when really you don't want to go through New Orleans, you just want to go through Slidell, which is like at the point where the interstates kind of split off in Louisiana. Yeah. You can go through Slidell, keep going west, and you'll hit Baton Rouge, but not have to go through New Orleans. And which is quicker, especially since you don't have to worry about New Orleans traffic.
Yeah.
But if the computer's saying go through New Orleans and there's no reason to go through New Orleans, then, you know, you want to take the quicker route. You can do that. In fact, I would, you know, considering it's Amazon and it's local Amazon delivery, I don't know how much of an opportunity one has to do it, or if anybody will be penalized if they do their own trip planning. But if it's possible, do it. Recording. You know, fuck the algorithm. The algorithm is sometimes wrong.
Hello.
Yeah.
We're looking at you, YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just me that balked, or did you guys balk as well?
Although I will say, in terms of my own personal experience with the algorithm, it's not been too bad. Although a lot of times I'll just sit there and I will watch speedruns, and whatever I watch as I go to sleep, it gets sent to my history. So
and
there's
then
a lot of Jacksepticeye in there.
Nice.
Jacksepticeye and Pokemon videos.
Epic.
Yeah.
Oh lordy. So yeah.
Yeah.
What do you all have to say about this guy?
Well, I mean, he's a mean one for. Well, fuck, sorry about that. He's kind of an asshole, but props for the costume.
Yeah, and at least he's in character.
Yep.
You got any thoughts on this, Michelle?
Yeah, I was going to have like a further thought on the whole anti-algorithm thing is basically my dad was a domestic appliance engineer, which meant he had to go to people's houses. So he would have the thing of this person would like an AM, this person would like a PM, and stuff like that. But beyond, if they give like a specific slot, like, oh, I've got an appointment, I have to be out of the house by this time, he would try and aim to have that person's appointment taken care of as soon as possible.
Right.
But beyond that, and I can imagine, because I think the area covered, I mean, not huge, like, he wasn't going state to state, obviously, like, within the county, but even then, you could end up at one end of it, like, in the morning, and the other end at the afternoon. But outside of, like, this person at this time, I'm pretty sure he could still create his own route, so long as he hit certain houses at certain times and be the most efficient he could be.
Yeah. That's where that trip planning comes in. And so yeah, the moral of this story: trip planning. If you can do it, do it. Now, Michelle, you mentioned before we got on the show, you might have a couple of other things you wanted to share real quick.
Yeah, we had an interesting knock on the door the other day. It was representatives from the local church, and by local I mean if I lean out the window and squint, I can kind of see where the building is. It's behind something else, but I know like where it is.
Yeah.
And they basically came round with a small hamper that included a full 3 to 7 person turkey, frozen.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a turkey, fizzy apple juice, some chocolate, cake, mince pies. Yeah, so they brought basically it was Christmas. I don't know, they came around and was like knocking. Like, oh hello. I was like, oh hi, hello. And it's like, oh, we're from Church of David. Oh no, City of David, isn't it? City of David's Gospel Church. We're giving what? So well, we're atheists. We're not really. No, it's fine. We're you know. I was like, well, did you what? I'm telling the story. We you know, did you need to, what do you think? Like, is there a catch? She's like, no, we're giving these away. Like, do you want me to donate? No, this is for you. We're just trying to, you know, because hard times at the moment. There was actually a leaflet with it that had a sticker that had a small Bible quote on it, which was quite one of the nicer ones.
Yeah.
And actually, I'll find the leaflet. Yeah, and it has basically, it was in association with the local county council. One second, found the leaflet. So, RCCG, City of David, Steve wishes you a Merry Christmas. Isaiah 41:10, MSG. Don't panic, I am with you, for there is no need to fear, for I am your God. I'll give you strength, I'll help you, I'll hold you up, hold you steady, keep a firm grip on you. In partnership with Hearts County Council Community Wellbeing Team, and then there's like the email address and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's the church and the local council saying, "Hey, look, we know times are shitty, but here, have a turkey, have a little bit of cheer." And honestly, I don't know about himself, but actually made me feel really good, like all day.
Yeah.
Like, say, oh, this is a really cool thing, and we know from doing this show and from other things we've talked about, some preachers of various flavours, they can be shits, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's actually nice to be reminded that, you know what, there is actual positive Christianity, that people just want to help other people, and actually not preachy. I don't even think they even said like God bless or anything. They just said, there you go, have a nice Christmas, you know, thank you for saying hello to us, you know, all the just, and it's like, oh, yay. That was just really cool and really nice. And like, it wasn't just us, it was like the whole building. I know our neighbour opposite turned it down. I didn't hear her reasons, but I heard her say, oh no, I'm fine, thank you. But she lives alone, and she's probably taken care of.
Yeah.
Someone upstairs also turned it down because they said, oh, give it to someone more needy. And from our point of view, like, they are probably a little bit more needy than we are, but I could see his heart there. It's like, well, I don't need it. Or maybe a thought I had afterwards was like, maybe they saw it as charity that they didn't think they wanted, or like it was a stupid pride thing. But yeah, it was just a really nice thing that happened to us.
Yeah. So yeah, that is something that more churches should do. And I'm looking at you, Joel Osteen. I'm looking at you, Kenneth Copeland. I'm looking at you, Pat Robertson, and all these other big mega church runners or what have you. This is something you can do with all of that money you fleeced off of your flock. Mm-hmm. Actually help people instead of buying yourself a private jet so you don't have to fly with the rabble. I know that's not the exact words they use, but that's the attitude they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it is important to note when church people do good, and this is a case of them doing that.
Yeah.
So.
Like I said, I don't know how much of it was off their own backs, or if they contacted the council, or the council contacted them, or if it's like a group effort. But yeah, it was just like, oh, this is actually really cool. I was really happy with that. So.
Yeah.
But Scully, did you have a thought, or are you just kind of nodding?
Yeah, nice to see. It is nice to see some Christians that are, actually Christ-like. Yeah. and not like, the Kenneth Copelands of the world, or I could probably name a bunch of them that are pretty awful. I know I could, yeah.
Oh,
but,
Stephen Anderson. Screw that guy.
Yeah.
Hard.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, Stephen Anderson can... I'm not going to finish that.
Dot.
Okay.
We're trying to keep this show lighthearted.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that was so nice of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Yep.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about, that it's something I saw coming kind of for a while now, but then when it kind of happened, I think it happened like really low key. Mm-hmm. Eddie Izzard is now using she/her pronouns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is awesome. Like, yay!
And like I said, I've been a fan of hers for years. I've seen her live several times. I've met her. I've got pictures.
Awesome.
And like every time, like every encounter I've had, even when I kind of want to default to when I'm referring to someone like who's now changed their pronouns past tense to they, and I don't think she necessarily would have a problem with that.
Right.
But yeah, every time that I've encountered her, even when she's been in a rush, like she did a workshop show that was like a really tiny little theatre. I was like literally from where I'm sitting to the end of my coffee table away from her, Yeah. She was in full boy mode as well, so maybe she wouldn't be offended by me using they or him pronouns in that context. But yeah, she was like in a hurry. But someone said, "Oh, hey, there was a really good show. Thanks for that. Could I buy you a drink?" And it's like, "No, I can't. I've got places to be." But even then, she was still like saying hello to people. Like, couldn't stop for pictures or autographs. It was still like, "Oh, hey, cool. Glad you had a great time. Like, have a good evening. Have a drink. All this stuff." So yeah, no, I've never ever had a negative experience when I've met them, and yeah, it's just really cool. But also, I think Dominic Noble's a bit of a prophet.
Oh.
One for this, like, so going back a little bit, which is why I think maybe Noble is a prophet, because he had put up at randomly at one point, because he was talking about how you see certain names trending and you think, oh god, now what's happened, or what's this? And I think he said something like, I swear to god, if Jeff Goldblum starts trending for whatever reason, I think it was Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, he was like, I'm just gonna whatever.
Right.
A couple of days later, Jeff Goldblum started trending, and it was I think it was the idea of the live action Hercules, and his name was attached to Hades, which Jeff Goldblum as Hades, I'm kind of there for.
There you go.
And
Definitely an improvement.
I actually tweeted, okay, I know what you're getting at, and for as scummy as James Woods has turned out to be, his Hades is still pretty classic.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I actually tweeted at Don Noble, said, "Damn it, Dominic, you're supposed to use your powers for good." And I showed him the screen cap I made. He's like, well, there you go. But the reason this is affirming why I think Dominic Noble is a prophet is because in a video he did a few days ago that would have been like shot even earlier before Eddie changed her pronouns, actually referred to Eddie as a gender fluid legend.
There you
Before
go.
she was referring to herself as gender fluid. I mean, and I say use the term gender fluid because she's always said, I've got boy mode, girl mode, like, you know, breast on, breast off, you know,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes, like, all right. I think she also uses terms I'm like, a male lesbian, I'm mostly boy with bits of girl. You know, she's used all these different terms to refer to herself, which could essentially boil down to gender fluid. It kind of, there's this whole anti-woke thing about like, oh, well, you're just like saying this to make yourself feel special, and you're just doing this and that because, you know, everyone told you were special, and now you're just trying to find, you know, now you're just working words up. No. Now the language has developed to the point where we have the words for these different things, these different identities, these things people have been feeling for years, but didn't have words for. That's not woke. That's evolution of language.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eddie is she, her pronouns. Go.
Yes.
Nice.
I think I can speak for everybody and say we support her.
Yep.
I'm confident enough in that one.
Yeah.
Short and sweet because we got to get out of here. Been running little longer than I would like. Still wanting to try to get the time down, but we're gonna see how that happens.
Well, we
But
had
yeah.
a couple of derps in the middle, and we had a longer break than normal, so maybe the recording time will actually edit down quite a bit.
Maybe
Yeah.
we'll find out when we get there. But
Yeah.
with that, thanks everybody for listening. I swear I rented this tongue. Scully, if we wanted to find you on the social medias, where could we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Scolipendra and Scolipendra91 on Tumblr.
Sweet. And Michelle, where could we find you?
You can find me at Linktree. Is it tr.ee/Phoenix7PHE IONIX11. But I'm also going to throw Gomer a link to my actual playlist for my advent calendars, and hopefully he'll remember to put it in.
Yeah.
Because that would be awesome if he did.
Well, as long as you make sure you get the link to me.
Yeah, I will. I will.
But yeah, and as for me, I also have a link tree, linktr.ee/Gomer21XX. That goes for the Patreon, for my Twitters, for my YouTubes, for the anchor page for this very show. And yes, even OnlyFans. I brought it up earlier, mention it again. You know, all of this stuff in the link tree, even on TikTok, even on Instagram, all that good shit. But yeah, with that, again, thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and odds are we'll probably not have one until after the New Year's. So see you guys next year, and until then, this is Gomer, the Ranting Thespian, with Scolipendra and Michelle, signing off.
Later.
Feliz Navidad.
Yes, Merry Christmas.